Today has a little bit of focus on the core. And as I said last week for our core class, we're not going to do a ton of work on the core because it's blasting hot out there. And we don't need to build up a ton of heat when it's already hot. This is an Ayurvedic concept, but it makes logical sense. When there's a lot of heat already out there in our external climate, then creating an internal climate that helps create balance for us is more important than creating more heat and burning ourselves out. So I myself am already a lot of fire. I'm a redhead, I have freckles, and fire added to fire just burns you out. So let's get moving a little bit. We'll work through the low back and we'll work through just a tiny bit of where we can engage the core to help ourselves just stabilize and create some strength and come to a comfortable seat. Oops, I'll bring my blocks. And so from this comfortable seat, shift and move sitting bones back and broad, little side to side movement to just feel and notice the connection of each sitting bone and whatever you're sitting on. And then as you press down with your hands, find a little tilt of your pelvis so your belly is coming forward, lengthen your sides, draw shoulder blades onto your back. And as you close your eyes here, take a couple big breaths, starting to let yourself notice and be present with what's there for you today, with whatever the sensations are, with whatever your energy level is. Just noticing for yourself. As you take a couple more deep breaths here, tune into an intention for yourself. Whether it's something physical in the body that you'd like to work through, or whether it's a heart-centered quality that you'd like to cultivate, like gratitude or joy. And then connect palms together at heart center. Gently press the palms, allow your elbows to lift a little bit, and then draw your shoulder blades to connect on your back. As you exhale, bow toward your heart, honoring yourself for being here this morning, taking the time for you. Then softly opening your eyes, release your hands down, and we'll do just that little bit of movement through the spine to start to work through the low back, but really the entire spine. Exhale, press your spine back. Inhale, draw your belly and your heart forward. Exhale, press back, noticing that tilt of your pelvis back. Inhale, heart forward, pelvis tilts forward. Take another couple of breaths, allowing for that movement to gently happen. It doesn't have to be the biggest, most extreme movement you have ever made, but instead thinking of being careful, being gentle, being thoughtful with your own movement. Then inhaling, sit tall, and exhale, take a twist over to the left. Lift your ribs up high, and exhale, draw low ribs in to help you twist just a little bit more. Full big deep breath. Inhale, come back into center. Exhaling, take your twist over to the right side. Inhale, longer through your spine. Exhale, low ribs in to help you twist. Inhale, come back into center. Switch the cross of your legs, coming to the less comfortable cross for yourself. Move sitting bones. Physically reach back and move sitting bones back and broad. This enables the tilt of the pelvis so that you can have that lumbar curve. Press down with your hands into your legs, lift your ribs up high, and then walk your hands out to your knees if they're not already there. And then begin that movement again. Gentle cat and cow 3 times. Inhale, belly and heart forward. Exhale, press your spine back. Full inhale, long deep exhale. And as you take one more big deep breath, just notice what's there, what's showing up for you. Then inhale tall through your spine. And exhale, twist to the left again. Right hand to left knee or thigh. Left fingertips behind you. Press down, lift your ribs, lift your heart. Exhale, low ribs draw in to help you twist. And now if you'd like to add a lift of your left arm up, and then stretch a little bit back toward the right side in that diagonal. Take a full big breath here. And use your breath to help your sides get longer. Help your ribs expand and create more space. Fill up completely one more time with breath. Inhale, come back into center. Exhale, press your spine back into a cat pose. Inhale, belly and heart forward. And then come back to that neutral place. Take your twist over to the right side. Press down, lift through your sides. Draw your low ribs in to help you twist more. If you'd like, you can reach your right arm up and then stretch it to the left just a little bit. Full big breath, letting your sides get longer. Send your head to the back plane of your body. Deep breath. Inhale back into center. And now exhale, take a forward fold. Walking hands as far forward as your body needs. You might set something underneath your hands or elbows here, propping yourself up a little ways. Find where a forward fold feels the best in your body. And then add a little bit of movement through your pelvis. Maybe a little movement through your sides, your shoulders. Just giving yourself that information and giving your body that chance to create more space. Then inhale, rise all the way back up. And we'll shift forward onto hands and knees. And from hands and knees, take a moment to set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Rotate elbow pits forward and push, expanding into the upper back. Your head is lifted to the back plane of your body. Tuck your toes under and lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog pose. Take a big, full, deep breath. And just a couple times on each side, pedal out. Bending one knee at a time, letting the opposite leg work towards straight, a little stretch through the hamstrings and calves. And then work your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold over your legs. From that folded place, think of knees staying bent and starting to tilt sitting bones up. Extend your front ribs just a little bit, rising up a little ways. And then exhale, fold a little deeper, let your head hang. One more big breath. And now hands to your knees. Push into your knees to lift your chest. Your knees are still a little bit bent. As you send your sitting bones up here, squeeze your glutes, squeeze low belly, low ribs, and then work your way up your legs with your hands to rise all the way up to stand. And from standing, find feet inner hip distance apart and parallel. So instead of outer hips, walk your feet in so ankles are stacked underneath your inner hip bones. Lift and spread your toes and then root them down. And now make fists and bring them to your low back. Think of your upper glutes. Lift your shoulders up and back, hug your elbows back. And now a little bend to your knees. And as you move your inner thighs back, so your sitting bones move a little further back, it's like you're gonna sit in a chair. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your low belly, and root into the ground to stand taller. With your hands pushing down onto your glutes, shoulders lift, heart lifts, elbows hug back toward each other. Big opening through your front, and then exhale, engage your low ribs. Inhale, lift your chest up a little higher. Exhale, engage through the core. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Turn your palms open forward and even think of rotating them a little bit more. So maybe your palms are facing out to the side, thumbs are starting to reach back. Shoulder blades engaged. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, bent, soft knees to fold over your legs. Inhale and lengthen part way, extend your heart. Exhale and fold. Plant fingertips, you're stepping right foot back into your lunge. Back knee can be up or down, your choice. Hands can be on blocks here if you'd like. Center with your hips and extend further with your sides. Full big deep breath. As you take 2 more full breaths, do a little movement with your hips, maybe unbending and bending your front knee a little bit. Then inhale, step forward, and exhale, step left foot back into your lunge. Center with your hips. Grow longer with your spine. Think of sides getting longer. Head lifts to the back plane of your body. Take a deep breath. And then with your next couple of breaths, same thing, maybe a little bit of movement up and down with hips or a little side to side. Just noticing, checking things out for yourself. Then inhale, step forward, and exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, hands up above your knees, send your sitting bones up, extend your heart. Engage low glutes, low belly, low ribs, and then walk your hands up your legs. So that little bit of activation of the core to support some of these actions that we take. Now we're going to step sideways on our mat. I have 2 mats, so I get to use the one facing you, but you can turn sideways on your mat and take your feet wide. And from this place with your feet wide, make sure that your heels are far enough out so that your pinky toe edges become parallel to each other. And then you're lifting and spreading your toes, lifting your arches up into the middles of your feet, hands to your hips, and press down as you lift your chest and your heart, opening up through your heart space. Engage your low ribs. And now a little bend to your knees. Start to push your hips back so that you can hinge from your hips and fold as deeply as you need. Maybe releasing your hands down to the floor or to blocks or whatever you have for props. But think of being high enough to allow that tilt of your pelvis. So sitting bones are lifting. As you exhale now, fold as deeply as it is for you. Maybe releasing elbows down, hands down, maybe reaching back behind you in between your legs. Full big breath. And then bring hands to hips, knees are a little bit bent, and you're gonna squeeze your glutes, squeeze your low belly, squeeze in with your low ribs to rise all the way up. And now turn right foot out, bend into your right knee and open your right knee up to the right side so that your knee is turning toward the pinky toe edge. You might lengthen your stance if you find that your shin is moving too far toward your toes, so think of stacked straight up and down. Lift your ribs and stretch, warrior 2. Take a full big breath. And then hands to hips, work your front leg towards straight and shift your hips so that you're creating more of a hip crease in your right side. Extend your heart in that right direction. You might take a block to the outside or inside of your leg. You might bring your hand to your shin or to your thigh. Ideally, we're not pushing our knee back though. So open up through the chest, shoulder blades on your back, turn your belly and your heart, And then maybe stretch up, triangle pose. One more big breath. Then root through the feet and inhale, rise all the way up. Turn your feet to parallel and turn your left foot out. Bend into your left knee. And again, open the knee up toward the pinky toe edge, all the way from the glute. Lift your ribs and extend your arms. Take a big deep breath. And then work front leg, left leg towards straight, hands to your hips, and do that shift back with hips. It's like a little hula dance. And as you do that, you create more of a hip crease in your left hip, okay? From that place, again, turn your knee more toward the pinky toe edge, even as you push your left big toe mound down. Then extend your heart, and you can take your hand to the inside, the outside with a block, or to your shin, or to your thigh. Again, just making sure not to push the knee back. Take a full big deep breath, turn your belly and your heart more open, and then maybe stretch up. Big breath, full deep inhale, long full exhale. Then push into the floor with your feet and inhale, rise all the way back up. And then turn your feet parallel. And one more time, check, notice. Pinky toe edges parallel to each other. Might feel a little bit pigeon-toed, but that helps to open up the low back a little bit. Bend your knees, push your hips back as you start to hinge, and then work hands down to the floor, to your props, whatever you need. Take a big deep breath and pulse with your breath. As you inhale and let your heart move a little more forward, send your sitting bones up. And then exhale, maybe lower a little further, or find that distance in your fold that's right in your body. Full breath. Let that fullness of breath act as a wave to help you experience maybe more opening, more space to create more shift. One more breath. Then inhale, extend your heart, hands to your hips. And we're squeezing glutes, belly, ribs to rise all the way up. And then walk feet in. Come back to the front of your mat. And then as you find your mountain pose, feet are underneath, ankles underneath hip bones. Lift and spread your toes and root down. Turn your palms forward. Take a moment with your eyes closed. Take a deep breath. Check in with what's there for sensation, how your body's feeling. And inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, bend knees to fold over your legs. Inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. Plant hands, step all the way back into a downward facing dog pose for just 3 breaths. As you rotate elbow pits forward and push from lats up through your hands, send your sitting bones further up. One more big breath. Then lower to knees, hips to heels, take a child's pose. Knees can be wide or narrow, your choice. One more full deep breath. And then gently push yourself up to your seat. Come all the way down to sitting bones. And now you have your choice. You can either grab your pillow or bolster or a rolled up blanket, whichever works the best in your body. So if you're using a rolled up blanket, think of a long roll. And then we're going to set whichever one we're using underneath our spine. So you can set it the length of your spine. And then to make your low back feel good, if you're using a long blanket, then you can sit right on it. If you're using a bolster, move it away from your back a little ways. And then lay all the way down so that you can open up through your front. Footprints to the floor for a moment here. And you can drop your knees in together to touch. Take a couple big breaths, letting that opening of the chest, the front body, help to maybe allow a little cooling. You can take a letting go breath here, releasing some heat, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. Giving yourself permission, if you would like, to close your eyes and start to tune into your body in this space. If a butterfly with your legs feels good, you're welcome to take soles of feet together. Just put blocks or whatever you're using for props underneath your knees. Or you're welcome to keep your knees touching. Or you're welcome to extend your legs all the way out long. Wherever that is for you. Take a couple big breaths here. And now take your arms into cactus, 90-degree angle. Palms are up. And now we'll move a little bit through the rotator cuff here. So first, drawing elbows in together to touch, and think of letting elbows touch first, and then palms. And then open your arms back up to that 90-degree place with your arms at cactus. And then elbows in together to touch. And then open it up. One more time this way. Elbows into touch. And open it up. Now 90-degree angle here with your arms. And we're going to start to move up overhead. So maybe your fingertips touch overhead. And then back down to 90 degrees. Up overhead and back down. A couple more times here. Up overhead. And back down. Good. So now, arms straight up above your chest. Plug in with your shoulder blades. Draw them onto your back. Plug in with your low ribs into whatever you're resting against. And then start to reach your arms overhead, keeping your ribs plugged in. Keep your ribs plugged in as you lift your arms back up overhead. Or up over your chest. Inhale, arms reach overhead. Exhale, low ribs in to lift your arms back up. Couple more. Arms overhead, low ribs in. Low ribs in to lift your arms back up. And then go ahead and rest your hands. Take a full big breath. And now bend your knees and roll over to your side. Take your prop out from underneath your spine, footprints to the floor. You're taking hands to your upper thighs, right up at your hip creases, and give your upper thighs a push away from you, toward the foot of your mat, so much that your pelvis tilts. Maybe you'll feel a little lift through your low back. And from that place, send your breath into your low back. Very purposefully expand your low back muscles on the inhale and release them on the exhale. Inhale, expand them toward the ground on the inhale. And exhale, release them. One more big breath. And then release your hands. Hands can come to rest on your low ribs if you want to, or just by your sides. And then you're going to choose that last pose that would feel really good to you. That might be a happy baby pose, might be windshield wipers, might be a restorative bridge pose, spinal twist, Whatever that is for you, take the time to notice how it feels in the body. Take the time to notice any shifts that you need to make to help your body settle with this pose. And take some deep breaths. Feel free if you take one pose and you think to yourself, that's not quite enough. And maybe you switch to another pose and take a few movements or hold a pose for a few breaths. So maybe you're in a happy baby pose and you switch to windshield wipers, or in a bridge pose and you switch to a happy baby. Whatever that is, consciously think of helping yourself be able to release. And then as you feel complete, start to settle into your most restful Shavasana. Feel free to add a prop underneath your legs or underneath your spine again. Find what it is that would help your body to settle. Begin to take a deeper breath. And add gentle movement into fingers and into toes. And as you're ready to, bend your knees, roll over to your side, and take a full breath. And with that fullness of breath, press down with your hands and bring yourself back upright to your seat. Hands connecting at heart center. Take a moment here to feel your breath fill you up completely. Have a very peaceful and beautiful day. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.